Very good morning, dear students, and welcome to 8th Standard Science online class. Dear children, in the last class, we are discussing about the synthetic fibers and plastics. So, in that, briefly, we are going to discuss about the types of fibers and the types of monomers and their concepts and polymerization and the meaning of polymers. These are all the concepts that we are discussed. Is it right? So, that's we are going to discuss briefly revising the concepts once again. So the types of the fibers, so there are the two types of the fibers that we are going to identify. So that is natural fibers and synthetic fibers. So natural fibers means the things that we are obtained from the naturally, the things that we are getting from the nature. This is what we call it as natural fibers. And the second one is synthetic fibers. So it is a man-made fibers that is will be extracted or prepared by the help of chemicals, and it is extracted in the industries. So then the monomers and polymers, the substance having a single unit structure forming a particles is called as monomer. So polymer means nothing but the many, in a certain substances thousands of units join together to form a large unit. This is what we call it as polymer. The process of joining the together of monomers to form a polymer, this is what we call it as polymerization. So these are the concepts that we are discussed in the last class. Is it right, children? So let us know that the more information regarding the polymers and natural polymers. Dear children, so natural polymers is nothing but the things that we are getting from the nature. The best example for the natural fibers like cotton, wool, silk, these are all the natural polymers that we are getting from the nature. Okay, so the next, the cotton is a polymer of glucose, and then the wool and silk are the polymer of amino acid, and spider silk is one of the strongest natural polymer. So the spider silk is one of the strongest natural polymer. So hope you understand the nature of the natural polymers. So natural polymers is nothing but the things that we are getting from the nature. The best example for the natural polymers is cotton, wool, silk. These are all the best example that we are getting from the nature. Such a kind of polymers, what we call it as natural polymers. So next one is synthetic polymerizations or synthetic polymers. See children, what is the difference between the natural polymers and synthetic polymers? See, these natural polymers is nothing but the things or the materials that we are getting from the nature. So that is we call it as natural polymers. Then the synthetic polymers is nothing but the polymers are made from the chemical substances. Just example for the plastic, nylon, polyester, acrylic. These are all the best examples for synthetic polymers. Some of the examples also they given here. Ethylene. So ethylene is a monomer obtained from the petroleum. It is a chemical formula of the ethylene is CH2. Okay, so this during the polymerization is nothing but so adding of each single monomer into group. Is it right? So adding of each monomer into group. This is what we call it as polymerization. So during the polymerization, many units of ethylene gets linked into form of chain. So that as will be as follows in the given picture. Just observe it. Here, each CH2 molecule is arranged in a chain format. So this is what we call it as polymerization. So this polymer is polyethylene. This is kind of polythene. Some of the polymers are made up of two or more units. This is best example for two or more units is nylon, This will be having different varieties of amines and adipic acid. So these are best examples for polythene. That polythene is also best example for synthetic polymers. Hope you understand, no children. So the next one is plastic products. So here, before going to that plastic products, so let us know the raw materials of synthetics. Scientists evolved a mechanism of polymerize the monomers of certain substances like rubber, silicone, and petroleum products such as ethene, propane, benzene. These are all the synthetic fibers or the synthetic polymers. So these are all the raw materials for extraction of plastics. These are all the benzene, propane, then styrene, ester, ethane. So these are all the raw materials for the using of synthetic plastics. Okay, so let us take the raw materials, synthetic fibers. So what do you mean by synthetic fibers? Dear children, already we know that the synthetic fibers means nothing but these are all the fibers that will be extracted by the help of the chemicals. Is it right? So even this is about the brief information about the synthetic fibers. So most of the synthetic fibers obtained from the petroleum products, from natural gases and coal by the process of polymerization. By the process of the polymerization, most of the products that we are getting from the petroleum products. So best example for that is rayon. So rayon is also a kind of synthetic polymer that we are prepared by using of cellulose. So dear children, cellulose is also one of the natural polymer. But one more thing, very important concept that you have to know, whatever the synthetic polymers they has to prepare by the help of the chemicals, they also require some amount of raw materials that we are getting from the nature. Hope you understand. If you take the rayon, cellulose is a kind of a plant tissue. It is a kind of a plant material. So do you know that cellulose, that the plant is in a natural source, right? So hence, whatever the synthetic materials or synthetic polymers that they has to prepare in industries by the help of chemicals, they has some amount of natural fibers or natural polymers they need to prepare it. Hope you understand, children. So the rayon is prepared from cellulose. So the cellulose is a natural polymer and it needs extensive chemical treatment at the time of the extraction of rayon cloth. Hence it is called as semi-synthetic fiber. Why? Because why the rayon is also called as semi-synthetic fiber? Yes, children. So rayon is also called as semi-synthetic fiber because it will be requires some chemicals and as well as cellulose. That cellulose is a natural polymer. So what are the advantages of rayon? Yes, it is a very cheap. It is very cheaper to produce as compared to the cotton, and then the waste materials or the waste cotton and waste papers is also used for making of rayon cloths. And the second one is the rayon can be blended with other fibers like wool and silk. So this rayon will be also as used as a polymer at the time of extraction of wool cloths and as well as silk cloths. So this is the major advantage of rayon. I hope you understand this concept, dear children. So the next, the properties of rayon. What are the properties that we'll be having? First one is good absorbent of sweat. So which means this rayon cloth will be made up of the cellulose. That cellulose is in a natural fiber, just like it will be act as a just like cotton cloth, or it will be just looks like a cotton cloth. And the nature of the rayon is good absorbent of sweat. Good will be very helpful for good absorption of sweat, that whatever it is produced by our body. Then easily dyed and woven into cloth. So which means that we can, at the time of the industrial cloth extraction or at the time of the stitching of the cloth in industries, the cloths will be easily dyed. Dyed is nothing but which means adding of colors into that, adding of colors. So that is very easy in the crayon cloth as compared to the cotton and other cloths. And it will be showing lusteric in nature appearance, which means shiny nature. These are all the major properties of rayon. So apart from that, the uses of rayon are, so mixed with the fiberglasses for making helmets, reinforcing nylon tires, then curtains because it will be drapes well, and then dress materials at the time of manufacturing dress materials also, that we are using the uses of nylon. Okay, the next one is nylon. So nylon is also one of the kind of a natural fiber that we are going to use it. Okay, so it is also kind of as polymer. Okay, so properties of the nylon. So it is a lusteric nature and easy to wash, elastic material, high strength, can be made into plates or powdered. It can be molded into fibers, sheets, rods, tubes, and coatings. These are all the major properties of nylon. Hope you understand, children. Yes. Next, now we are going to discuss about the types of plastic. There are two types of the plastics that we are going to identify, that is thermosetting plastics and thermoplastics. Whatever we are using in our day-to-day life, the plastic materials that has been classified into two categories. Which are those? Based on the nature of the plastics has been classified into two categories. So that is thermosetting plastics and thermoplastic. What does it mean? What do you mean by thermoplastic and thermosetting plastic or thermosets plastic? Yes, let us know the brief information. Thermoset plastics. Thermoset plastics are, what is the nature of these thermoset plastics? See children, the thermoset plastics are hard and rigid, very hard in nature. The best example for the thermoset plastic is melamine and bakelite. So bakelite or melamine is a best example for thermoset plastic. So the thermoset plastic will be molded to set it into any shape. So these plastics that we can easily divide or bifurcate into different varieties of shades but as our need. And but it cannot be remolded. And it cannot be remolded. And it is having high resistancy regarding heat and electricity. So we can easily use this kind of thermoset plastics in electrical equipments manufacturing, and as well as heat absorbed related materials also will be having made up of thermoset plastics. So examples of thermoset plastics are handles, spoon handles, or whatever they will be having. So thermoset handles, and then a fireman's uniform is also coated with thermoset plastics. It will be very helpful to heat resistant. It will be act as a fire and heat resistant. And then electric pins, so just sockets, electric sockets, just observe it. So continuously that electricity is passing means that become as a heaten, right? But that switch or electric pins doesn't heaten because melts because of this thermoset plastic. These are all will be made of thermoset plastic. So these are all the best examples. Then the thermoplastics. Thermoplastics are soft and flexible, though they are not elastic like it will be doesn't shows elastic in nature. The best example for thermoplastics are nylon, polyester, polyvinyl chloride, that is PVC pipes, acrylic. So these are all the best examples for thermoplastics. So thermoplastics examples are that we are going to use in our day-to-day life everywhere, and it can be recyclable. But thermosetting plastics that does not recycle and it is a one time using. Thermoplastics that we can easily recyclable. So plastic tables and chairs, plastic food containers, plastic toys, plastic spoons and forks, plastic cups, plastic daily use items, these are all will be made by the help of thermoplastics. These are all the best examples for thermoplastics. I hope you understand, dear children, this one. So this is about the complete information about the synthetic fibers and plastics. Apart from that, these plastics and synthetic fibers, so they will be used in some medicinal use also. For example, cotton that will be used in the time of bandages, like that. The varieties of uses are there. I hope you understand these are all the concepts clearly. Dear children, this is about the brief information regarding synthetic fibers and plastics. I hope you understand this. So must be complete the given classwork as soon as possible and send through WhatsApp. So please stay home, stay healthy and